Darkcast Network. Indie pods with a dark side.
Welcome to Castles and Cryptids, where the castles are haunted and the cryptids are cryptic as fuck. And I'm your host, Alana.
And I'm Kelsey, and I was just yawning.
I was just picking up a pin on my table because my distracted ADHD brain was like, how come I haven't put this Swamp Man pin on anything yet? Wow. So welcome to episode 183 of this madness where it's always this chaotic and iconic, as the kids say. No. We hope you've recovered from last week. Just having put that out.
Yeah.
I remembered it was a brutal one. And I had such a hard time. Like when it came, I was like, oh, I just have to do a description. All the editing's done. And then I was like, I was like, what was Kelsey's case? And how do I describe that case? And I just like had no ideas for the title all of a sudden. I was just like, I'm like, what's wrong with me? I have no creative like juices today. It was terrible.
Yeah, it was a tough episode.
Yeah. I think I referred to your case as a telenovela. I don't know why. I was like, they had their crazy parts. I'm okay. I swear.
I think we were probably doing better than the listeners because we recorded on different days, so we had a bit of a break in between the cases where if you're listening to it, it was just back to back and everything's worse than the last.
Right. I'm trying to remember. I'm sure yours was rough too. I just remember mine was really bad. I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Anyway, maybe I have too much true crime in the brain. Earlier I said something to Rain, something involved the word hump. Not like gross, but it was like hump day or something like that, or at camp, and she said
It's
camel.
not Wednesday.
I know, it's right. I don't even remember. But then she goes camel, but I said camel? I said at first I'm sorry. At first I thought you said cannibal, so I was very confused.
Oh no.
That's how tired I am. It's been a long week.
Damn.
Yeah, it's all good, guys. It's been snowing. We've had a spring snowstorm. I bitched a little bit about multiple car issues we've had this week, and I don't even know if I want to go into it right now because I'm trying to just be positive. So
yeah,
it's almost April. We shouldn't be getting like a foot of snow. That's all.
It's wild, like
right. But
hello,
that's right.
Gordo,
we're Canada,
Gordo hath returned. Hey, get in your box. Get in your box, buddy.
And because also I know that then I looked up when Mercury was out of fucking retrograde because I was like, I'm tired of this bullshit, and it's not for like another week. I'm like, it's literally been shitty the last couple weeks. Anyway, I'm gonna move along. Everyone that's never been here before has left. So we have an interesting theme.
Twirling around. He's trying to twirl around there. He just settled in his box. So.
Yeah. Well, Fenrir was curled up in the snow. He just loves it. But I think he's the only one at this point in time. Yeah, we were gonna go with a springy sort of theme with
I know.
like new cryptids emerging, like everyone's been hibernating and now they'll all be coming out.
Yeah. And then it's like, oh, little did we know we're gonna record this in a snowstorm.
Yeah. Everyone else
Like,
is just like, who cares? We're in Texas. It's super hot here. Moving on. Or whatever. It's like,
right.
fine. When you live
We're
in the
like
northern.
in snow up to our knees, just like I went into my yard and there was
Yeah.
snow drifts where it had blown weird and it was like inches past my boots and I was like, these are my tallest boots. Like the snow is past my knee. Like,
Right? She's super fluffy, like that almost fake looking snow, and
but it's
then
also
just
damp, so
wet.
it's really
Yes.
heavy. Yeah. Oh, it was brutal trying to shovel it. I had to shovel the city sidewalk and it
Oh, I
yeah, it
totally
was
like
too
tried to avoid kind of a hump of snow because nothing's melting or like fast
no.
enough or being like plowed, God forbid. So like going out into the
Yeah.
parking lot to get back in. Well, Pat's car.
Yeah.
Oh, and so I tried to avoid stepping in the deeper snow, and all I did was fucking slip and fall and almost do the splits and get like my whole ass wet. I was like,
Oh no.
well, I know it was a lot
Yeah.
slipperier than I thought it was.
I know this
Ugh.
morning when I got out of my vehicle in our store parking lot, it must have, the night before, people driving must have kind of, it gets slushy, so it just kind of
Mm-hmm.
moves around as people are driving. It creates like divots. It
Oh
must have
yeah.
frozen overnight, and then when I got out of my vehicle this morning and the snow had fallen on top of it, you couldn't see what was divots. So when I was
Mm.
walking, I kept tripping and almost wiping out constantly because I couldn't see, because the snow, everything was white on top and you couldn't
It's
see any
covering
of
up
the
all the
ruts.
ruts. Yeah.
So I probably looked like I was walking like a brand new like baby deer or something. Just like shaky legs and almost falling every few seconds.
Ugh.
Like tripping on her own
Yeah.
feet, trying to walk through a parking lot. So
Yeah. And
stupid.
like, then I was having to drive Pat's car, and he'd just taken his winter tires off. Because
Oh no.
how hopeful is that? Oh, it's almost the end of March, right? Yeah, no.
No.
Ugh. Lord of mercy. Well, mine's not too long for once.
Neither is mine.
Well, that's good. I guess. I don't know.
This might be our shortest episode in a while. It's
Could
been the
never.
shortest spring in a while. Maybe we're straight back in
Oh,
winter.
too soon.
No.
It's March. It's still March when we're recording this. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. That's all. I don't have anything more
That's
interesting to
all for
say. No, I
today.
was like, oh, I'll get into that later. Ugh. We haven't talked about anything yet other than slippery snow.
Yeah.
Poor everyone's going to be like, fuck, it's Canada, of course. Well,
Yeah.
fine then. If you must be that way, we'll get to the stories.
Right? I have a fun one.
Mine was kind of interesting and fun too. Okay.
Mine, oh my god, it's got such a weird name and I didn't look up how to pronounce it. It's like
Sometimes there's not a lot of pronunciation on cryptids. I hate to say.
yeah, this one I might have been able to find it cuz it's part of a like indigenous tribe is where it comes from. So,
Oh, that's tough.
yeah, but it's the Miniwashitu, I want to say. So it's like mini and then wash and then itu. Miniwashitu?
Okay. Never heard of it, I don't think.
I hadn't before, but it's kind of cool. Uh, it's from North Dakota, where it
Oh.
makes me think of us. This was very telling when I made these notes like 6 days ago. Uh,
They got stuck in the snow and had to eat everyone, a la the Donner Party. No.
not quite, but it's in North Dakota where it said that the winter frost starts in September and below
Oh,
freezing temperatures can last until May. Should have been like, and you can have a
yeah.
snowstorm in March.
Yes. Or in other countries, when they film the traders in Scotland, they'll be like, "Oh, look, Scottish summer." It's like raining, everyone looks freezing. Like, here it could snow any
Yeah.
minute, whether it's like June or July. It could still happen. It's bizarre.
Yeah, it was really weird. Yesterday, while it was snowing really heavily, I was at the mall and
Okay.
for some reason, like there were stores at opposite ends of the mall I wanted to go to. And so I had walked the length of the mall like at least once.
This used to be
But
the
I
biggest
ran into
mall in
this,
Canada. You're talking about the WEM, right?
yeah,
Yeah, that's a big fucking
and
mall.
I ran into this one lady with her two kids. I lost track of the husband after the first time I saw the four of them together, but they were wearing shorts and like tank tops. The mom was wearing a tank top.
Oh,
The kids were wearing just t-shirts. I didn't see any jackets, and nobody was
huh.
carrying anything. Uh and it was
One
just
of
like, okay,
those.
it is like snowing, like very,
Yeah.
very heavily. And it would threw me off because they were all really tanned. And I was like, did you come back from vacation? You can't feel the cold? Like, what's
Oh,
happening? But I ran into them 3 times
weird.
in the mall. I ran into them when I got into the mall. Then on the opposite end of the mall, they were there as well. And then in the middle of the mall, I saw them again on my way back.
Weird.
And then I might have seen like the mom or something in the food court. I was like, well, I've seen this same family 4 times in the mall in 2 hours. I just
Yeah,
thought
I
it
feel
was
like you
really
could
weird.
lose someone there for days. I think I
Yeah.
said it wrong. I think I said it used to be the biggest mall in Canada. It's the biggest one in Canada. Used to be the biggest one in North America. But I think the Mall of America took us over.
Yeah, ours was built before the Mall of America, and then the Mall of America is bigger, and then there's some even crazier ones like on the other side of the world now where
They're yeah.
they like
Yeah, the bigger ones in Dubai and stuff. I
yeah,
love
where
how
they
like
have like ski
Minnesota,
hills with like chair lifts and stuff inside. And you're like, what's even happening? We just have a water park.
right? I was gonna say, never mind the 51st state. Minnesota's like the 11th province because they're like
Yeah.
basically Canada. Minnesota and Maine, they're like north, and they get it. They're cold. There's nothing to do
Yeah.
there. Oh, Love Is Blind, the recent season was in Minneapolis, and they're like indoor skating at the Mall of America, and they had a roller coaster at the Mall of America. I was like, we have that
Oh
at the
no.
West Edmonton Mall.
Yeah. Too
Oh, it
funny.
was crazy. Yeah. It was actually a really
Yeah.
boring season, by the way.
Oh.
Anyway, I know. Get some better guys.
Uh,
Love Is Blind.
so I guess by December, the ice of the Missouri River can be as thick
River.
as 6 feet. Which,
What?
yeah, by December. Like, that's wild to me. It happens so fast.
And in a river,
And
which is
yeah,
so
the Missouri
fast.
River.
Okay.
Yeah,
Huh.
and this ice can block, obviously, the passage along the river near the capital of Bismarck for over 3 months every winter.
I always forget the capital's Bismarck. How very German of
I
you, North
know,
Dakota.
right? I was like, I know this word, but if I had never heard that word, I wouldn't know that that's pronounced Bismarck. Would have been like Bismarck
Yeah,
or
why is there like
something.
a
Bismarck.
Paris, Texas, and we have like a London, Ontario, and like there's just so many like repeating ones where they're just too
Yeah.
lazy to name it anything new.
Yeah.
New York. No.
New York the third.
There's a place in our province here called New Norway. It's like a city. I was like, where is
really?
this?
Never heard of that. That
I know,
sounds
I just
fun.
saw someone's address and I'm like, what? New Asgard. No, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry.
hold on, I should look up how to pronounce the tribe name.
Oh, yeah. How to pronounce something in Irish. It's like one of those where nothing is as it seems.
Oh no, apparently there's a place in Malaysia with the same name. Oh,
Oh.
this pronunciation is saying it exactly like I thought it would be, which is phonetically. So that's what I'm going to use.
Fair.
So it's the Madan people and other tribes who live in North Dakota, and they ended up settling along the banks of the Mazara.
And it goes all the way up to North Dakota. Huh. Weird.
I guess so.
I guess we
know
have
enough
a
about
river here that's like called the North Saskatchewan, and we're like not in Saskatchewan.
Yeah. Not at all.
Rivers,
They
they're
settled along
crazy.
the banks of the Missouri River and then surrounding rivers that include the Heart River and Knife River, all
Ooh,
sometime
Knife River.
between and Heart River. That sounds cute.
Do they come together? Does the heart go through the knife?
Oh no. I don't know. I'd have to look up. Maybe maybe the Knife River like does something.
It cuts straight through.
Yeah. But they settled in these areas sometime between 1100 and 1300.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, a long time ago.
Yes.
And when I was just like, oh my god, of course the bay is closing, because my next sentence is, when white fur traders arrived centuries later. I was like, the Hudson's Bay Company. That's now like closing.
Yeah, it's one of them old school stores that just hasn't been able to keep afloat, like Sears and Zellers and shit like that. Yeah. Maybe we should rename the Hudson's Bay just like they were gonna rename the Gulf of Mexico to what? The Gulf of America. I'm just kidding.
No.
Who's this Hudson dude? Trudeau's Bay. I'm just kidding.
Trudeau's Bay. But spelled like Bay.
Like what?
Not like Bay.
Like
spelled Bay.
B-A-E?
Yeah, not
Okay.
Bay, not Bay. Trudeau's Bay.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's literally crazy
yeah.
that he like has stepped down and like I don't know. Seems like nobody cares about Canadian politics very much right now. We just are like, oh, we'll just hate the next guy that comes in for the Liberals. Moving on, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, anyway. I'm sorry.
So when white fur traders arrived centuries later, the Madan people had already built communities and made the area their home, and had already worked to turn the banks of the Missouri River into this thriving hub for trade.
Okay.
So it was
Rivers are good for
it was
that.
already right, very important in this time to be along a river.
Right,
And the ability to travel,
like the highways. Sorry, yeah.
The ability to travel along the river and trade goods were vital to the Madan people. So when it would freeze over in those long winter months, it led to a really hard time. And with warmer weather on the way, the groaning ice could be heard along the river, shifting and starting to melt in the spring.
That's why you don't walk on the river when it's frozen, because you don't know how frozen it is.
Yeah, don't ever go on like ice. I mean, I guess unless it's December when it could be like 6 feet thick. But
yeah, this stuff sounds pretty stable, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
but you do
that
hear horror
sounded
stories of
wild to
people and their
me.
dogs. Yeah, like sorry, in the river and stuff. And you're like, oh my god, it's not worth it.
Yeah. So the Miniwashitu is described as a frightening looking creature. It looks pretty creepy, but the Madan people both fear and welcome its arrival. It's said to come from the bottom of the Missouri River, and it actually plays a really important job, or has a really important job.
Aww. Like Nessie. No, I don't know. Yeah. It's like associated
Working
with
9 to 5. No.
it's water. That's cool. Yeah.
Described back in the early 20th century by an ethnologist named Melvin Randolph Gilmore. The creature
Wow.
is a dreadful being and covered all over with hair like a buffalo, but red in color. And it has
What?
only one eye. Yeah, it's a red buffalo. It has only one eye in the middle of its forehead, and above that, it has a single horn. So, like, one horn.
Oh. This is getting more and more bizarre with every descriptor.
Yeah. It has a
okay.
It has a backbone that stands out notched and jagged like an enormous saw.
Oh.
And it's said to stand between 7 and 9 feet tall. And apparently has human hands and then like cloven hooves.
Why? Oh my god.
Because it can.
It's like I'm like first picturing like an otter because I'm like, what is hairy that goes in the water? And then it's like a cyclops, but it's also like a unicorn. Just like
I would say
I give up.
yeah, like it's like a centaur kind of type thing.
Or I'm picturing something like
Like a
cross between a
minotaur.
beaver and a stegosaurus because it's got this weird like spine poking out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what?
Do you think Stegosaurus? That is a good. Yeah.
I have a hard enough time picturing things. This is just throwing me all off.
It's a liger. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's said to be very protective of its territory and will lash out towards invaders.
Okay.
Looking it in the eye is said to cause blindness and leave you in a mad, delirious state up until you die soon after.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
It's one big eye.
It's one big eye to hypnotize you with.
There was a little cartoon character on the early internet website I used to frequent called Joe Cartoon or something, and the character's name was Fatty Big Eye because one of his eyes was bigger than the other, and he'd just be like, "Quit looking at my eye."
No.
Oh, the days of the early internet were so bizarre.
Yeah.
I tell you.
So the creature is said to have a loud bellow sound that it makes when it's surfacing out of the water, and it said that if you hear this sound as it does it, it can make you deaf.
Oh shit.
Yeah, deaf and blind and mad, and then you die.
Right? Like, is it just so terrifying? Or I don't know. When you said surfacing, I don't know. Now I'm thinking of like maybe the narwhal.
Like a whale.
Oh.
Hi, buddy.
Yeah, that.
You're going to meet your dad.
Yeah.
Whatever you said.
Yes, exactly. Good luck, bud. What does he say? Hope you find your dad.
Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
So the creature's arrival is announced by this terrific roaring sound as it emerges from the bottom of the river. It is said to swim upstream and then use its saw-like backbone to break up the ice of the Missouri River.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
so that's why
sense.
it's both feared and like loathed and welcomed because it helps break up the ice so that spring, the thaw and everything starts and allows them to travel along the river again quicker because it's
Sure.
like saws through the ice with its back.
And they're all like, thank this guy. We can travel.
Yeah.
Oh man. Folklore is so crazy. The way they were like, yeah, winter comes because, that one Greek tale where she goes to Hades and
Yeah.
Persephone and blah, blah, blah. I don't remember. Yeah. Word.
So for stories, there was one that was
Ooh.
kind of cool. This was documented, or I guess from the KXnet, which I think is like a local like radio station or some sort of newspaper.
Yeah.
Because it had a whole write-up about it. But it was talking about what that Gilmore, the ethnologist guy, because he
Oh,
stayed
right.
with the Madan people for a little while, and he's the one that like heard these stories and documented them first, I guess. And back in 1921, Gilmore wrote this statement regarding the myth, saying, "It is said that in the long ago, there was a mysterious being within the stream of the Missouri River. It was seldom seen by human beings and the most dreadful to see. It is said that sometimes it was seen within the water in the middle of the stream, causing a redness shining like the redness of fire as it passed up the stream against the current with a terrific roaring sound."
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just a tidal bore. Oh.
And they say that if this dreadful being was seen by anyone in the daytime, anyone who thus saw it, what a sentence, saw it soon after became crazy and continued restless and writhing as though in pain until he was relieved by death. It's
I
like,
go
wow, that was
crazy on you. Crazy on you. Yeah. Just put it in a song snippet.
And it is said that one time, not a very great many years ago, this frightful being was seen by a man, and he told how it appeared. He said that it was of strange form and covered all over with hair like a buffalo, but red in color, that it had only one eye in the middle of its forehead, and above that a single horn. Its backbone stood out notched and jagged like an enormous saw, and as the man beheld the awful sight, everything became dark to him, he said, and he was just able to reach home, but he lost his reason, and soon after that he died. So, like, presumably
Dang.
the only description we have of the creature is somebody that barely managed to get home, quickly describe it before they went mad, and then died. So,
Yet it's
yeah,
a
there's not
very
many
good,
witnesses.
thorough description. It's very
Yeah,
specific.
yeah.
Reddish hair. Yeah, all of these things. I'm like, okay. Oh, especially the spine. Ugh. It's so weird.
Yeah, like saws through. I like that it saws through the ice, though.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
wasn't there a seal one I saw where, like, wait a minute. Because I won some stickers from the cryptid account, and I was like, they did it's a cryptid that looks like a seal, but it has like, almost like, yeah, a round saw attached to its like tail. Oh my gosh.
oh,
I'm trying to remember now what's it's called. I'll get back to you.
okay. I'm like, I don't know that one.
I'm sure I have a sticker of it somewhere. Oh, I'll
Cute.
find it.
Uh, so by the time Gilmore, the ethnologist or ethnologist, whatever you want to say that stupid word. By the time that guy heard this story, the dangers of the river had real life consequences for the Madan people. The white fur traders that they had been interacting with had brought smallpox with them,
Oh,
which I think a lot of
dang.
people in Canada will know about as well. Obviously, it seems like it happened quite a bit in the US too.
Yeah. They didn't have any immunity against it. So everything that we had that could
Yeah,
possibly have the disease, it was like, oh.
yeah. Also talks of maybe sometimes it happening intentionally.
I know. I feel like
But
I heard something like that too, where they're like, here's a
yeah,
smallpox blanket or something.
yeah.
You're like, oh, great. That just seems
Um,
pretty nasty, but I don't know.
yeah.
We'll never know.
It's history for you. It's a
Right,
lot of
history.
really bad things that people did
Yeah,
to
but
each other.
and then also like we just don't like people act like history is like set in stone where it's really like we're learning things all the time that contradict what we think we know and stuff like that where it's so much
Yeah,
more like changeable and whatnot. We don't really understand it as well as we think we do. I think.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these like smallpox outbreaks happened in 1782 and 1837, and it is said to have decimated the tribe of the Madan people as sure as like other tribes that were also in the area. And it did say that though many Madan traditions have been lost, that today the legends of the Miniwashitu still live strong along the Missouri River area and especially through other North Dakota tribes that are more prominent there still.
Mm.
And like people that aren't associated with the tribes also kind of know about it in the area, which I think is nice.
Yeah.
It's kind of like shared within the community along the river and
A local
stuff.
legend.
Yeah. Um, I thought this was kind of. I don't remember why I wanted to end with this. This was from Atlas Obscura.
Good website.
I think it was literally just because I thought this was just crazy things that they described. I was like, oh wow, this will be fun.
Okay.
Oh, it must be, yeah, KX News. I was right. That's what the other one little snippet was from. KX News website. Because it
AP.
says it here.
Oh, sorry.
It says, but he is not so frightening now. A recent description by KX News, Western North Dakota's CBS affiliate. No, it can't
That's
be
like when
Western
your
and North
GPS
Dakota.
tells you to go head northwest east on something
Yeah,
road west. You're like, okay.
yeah. Recent description by KX News, Western North Dakota's CBS affiliate insists that the bipedal buffalo is a pescatarian.
How can it be bipedal if it lives in the water? Wait, what? It walks? It walks on
I
two
guess so,
legs?
yeah. Yeah, that's what I was like. Imagine a minotaur. Now imagine with me a centaur minotaur.
I know. I guess I have to see these pictures.
Yeah, they're really all very similar. Like, people just seem to do the one thing. It's nothing too crazy.
Mm. Yeah, I do find that's the case sometimes with the
I
cryptids.
did put the one on the drive. It kind of looks like, you know, those little, I don't know, it'd be like travel brochure type pictures where it's like, oh, that's
Oh, okay.
like an animal in front of your like panoramic landscape or something, and it's 2-dimensional shapes, but you can look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's whatever lake with a bear in front of it or something. It looks like one of those pictures, but it's a it's a cryptid. It looks like it's in a national park. It's so cute.
I think this one kind of looks like an ad where it's like standing, crouching against a backdrop of, mountains and a river.
Yeah, it's like, visit North Dakota.
Look at this mesa behind me. It's purple.
Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt National Park.
Okay, yeah.
Did they do this officially?
I don't know, but I love it. This guy, there's nothing Mini about this guy at all. I love that Mini's in his name, but he looks like, actually, because like, unless you count Minotaur, because it does kind of remind me of that episode of Gravity Falls where Dipper, they're like 13 or whatever, so he's like dealing with his manhood, and he meets this Minotaur, and then there's these other guys, and I'm full of Tor and stuff like that. And I don't know, it's all about it's like coded in masculinity, and this one guy's like, I don't know your name, so I'm just gonna call you Beardy, and he's like, it's Beardy. Like, there's all these different Minotaurs and stuff. So oh god, I love that episode.
They're like, of course it is.
Yeah. Anyway, shout out Gravity Falls. It's such a good show. Sorry.
Okay, just have a tiny bit more.
Nice.
Tor. Yeah, they insist that the bipedal buffalo is a pescatarian and subsisting on plants, fish, and grass.
Okay, because that means you only eat fish for meat, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Weird.
And
he's like a Bigfoot.
This is where it gets even crazier. I was like, what even was this article on Atlas Obscura I was reading? Because this was their closing statement. I was like,
I want to read every one of their articles. I get their emails and I'll be like, oh, I should read that. Yeah.
And though cryptid aficionados have likened the creature to a cross between West Virginia's aggressive saber-toothed sheep squatch, which I'd never heard of.
Apparently we're not cryptid aficionados.
Yeah, I was like, West Virginia's aggressive saber-toothed sheep squatch. And the South, this one I have heard of. Sorry, saber-toothed sheep squatch and the Southwest's blood-sucking chupacabra.
Saber-toothed sheep squatch. Such a tongue twister.
Yeah. That's why I was like, this is the most crazy paragraph I've ever read. Most modern renderings of the Miniwashitu show it as an amiable cycloptic unicorn.
Oh my god. Cycloptic is an adjective now? Okay.
I know, I was like, not psychotic. It's not a psychotic unicorn. It's a cycloptic unicorn.
I've never heard this word ever in my life. That's so funny. One-eyed. Why don't they just say one-eyed like everyone else? It's a one-eyed, one-horned, flying purple people eater. Oh no, wait, it's red.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But if you hear a terrific roar along the Missouri River during the day, just remember to look away and let the hard-working water monster usher in spring. That's the end.
It's literally one-eyed, one-horned. This is such a fucking children's nursery rhyme.
I know. I feel like it's a character in like Monsters, Inc. or something.
Oh, totally. I could see it on Gravity Falls. Monsters,
Mike
Inc.
Wazowski and...
Oh, what the other? There was Monsters vs. Aliens. That one has a cryptid in it. It's got the guy called the Missing Link. Pretty sure played by Will Arnett, and he's like, I'm the link between, Neanderthals and monkeys or whatever.
Oh, I haven't watched that one in a long time.
Oh, so good. That was really interesting. Never heard of him. He's very, very specific in his looks.
Yeah. I was like, oh. I like that they're afraid of him, but they also, when they start hearing the ice breaking, they're like, he's here! Oh, hail the
Yeah.
Miniwashitu! Like,
I like that too. I like the
um,
way I don't know if there's a word. It's not like anthropomorphizing, but like making nature take on like, oh, it's because of this legend that this like weather thing happens or this seasonal thing happens, right? Like we just kind of like explain it that way, and I always love those ones. They're kind of
yeah.
like really cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was nice. He helps them usher in the spring.
Mini I'm never gonna remember any of those names for him. They were all so
Miniwashitu.
right. Miniwashkatu.
Washitu.
And then something shape shifter sharp shifter.
No. Sheep. It's a sheep squatch.
Oh, it was a sheep
Like the
squatch. The way they just add squatch to everything now, though. It's a bat squatch,
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what
There
the
are some lesser known
saber-toothed
cryptids.
sheep
Yeah.
squatch is.
Oh,
I do
yeah,
know who the
saber-tooth.
chupacabra is, but
Right. No, but that's just sometimes you're just like, here's a goat man, or there's been a bunch of dog
yeah.
man sightings, and you're just like, wow, nobody talks about these ones very much. It's crazy. That was really
I
cool.
feel like Cycloptic Unicorn would be a cool band name.
Oh, it is.
Cycloptic Unicorn.
The older one I heard today that they were like, that'd be a cool band name or whatever was a lesbian folia de as someone described the we've talked about it on the pod, the Moberly Jourdain incident, the time slip when the two ladies are walking around Versailles and they like slip back
Oh
to the
yeah.
past and see Marie Antoinette and stuff. And someone said it was a lesbian folia de, just a shared madness of two lesbians. Like, what? Okay. Anyway. Amazing. We'll take a short break. We'll be back after a word from these sponsors.
Hello. I'm Courtney, and this is The Book of the Dead, a true crime podcast based out of New Jersey. For those looking for a podcast that focuses on the victims and who they were, or cases where the family is directly involved in the telling of their loved ones' stories, each chapter of this podcast is dedicated to the victim they feature. Here, you can find cases you may have never heard of, or interviews with experts that have dedicated their lives to protect and serve, and occasionally hear from the victim themselves. So get comfortable, grab a drink, and settle in for another chapter of the Book of the Dead.
We are back. I did find the seal sticker I was talking about, where it has a weird the end of its tail that looks like kind of like a circular saw, or like weirdly I was reminded of this when you're talking about your guy. I'm not sure how to say it exactly. Ice gadunk. I remember entered a contest on one of our Instagram people there who she does cryptid art and stuff, and I won. That's how I got the sticker, and it was a book with the cryptid zodiac. I remember now.
Oh yeah.
But it's been a while. Anyway, one of these days we're gonna do some good merch too. Especially my mom gave me such cool merch, like my most recent mug that I
yeah, it's great.
Instagram. Yeah, I tried to do the thing where like if you tag someone now on Instagram, it's like, do you want to share this post with them so you can like put it out as like a collab almost? And I was like, well, not with this
Yeah.
person, but yes, if I tag castles and cryptids, I'll try it out with me. But then it didn't work. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know how these things work. I'm not good on the
Yeah, I don't know.
Instagrams. Yeah. Okay, so this one creature comes to us from Philippine folklore or Filipino folklore. So, yeah, they have a very rich culture of folklore. I feel like I've come back to this well a few times, and there's still like a
Yeah.
website that's like, here's A to Z creatures, like over 300 of them, and I'm like, what?
Wow, that's a
You guys
lot.
are crazy. Yeah, the website's like the Aswang Project, and I'm like, I know we've talked about Aswangs, Aswangs.
Yeah.
That can't be how you say it.
No, I don't think so.
Oh my god. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about today. These ones are, to the best of my knowledge, pronounced the Tiyanak or Tiyanak. So there's a couple different spellings. Tiyanak, which I kept doing, even though the other ones were a little bit more simple. Tianak. Basically, if you put it into Google, if you look for Tiyanak stories, it might think you're looking for Titanic stories, especially if you use the
Oh
the
no.
spelling with the C at the end. Which was like fascinating, but not what I wanted.
Just like when I was trying to tell you what battlefield I chose, and
Oh,
freaking autocorrect on my phone that isn't even supposed to be enabled just kept changing it to town. I was like, I'm not trying to say town. Like,
I honestly
the
thought
fuck is
Town might have
happening?
been autocorrect. Yeah, I was like, Town?
How? It was like town. It was saying town, and then please delete this repeating word. It was like, no!
Toonton. Did you mean Toonton Abbey? I hate it when my phone thinks it's smarter than me, and I've mentioned,
Yeah.
when we talk about autocorrect, because Pat will be like, oh, it did that to me today, and I'm like, you should just turn it off like Kelsey did if it bugs you that much. It's like,
Yeah, mine's supposed to be off. It'll just like do squiggles, but yeah, every once in a while it just really wants to automatically change a word, and I'm like, nope, I know what I'm saying. Like,
it's like when spell check is like, did you mean this? And you're like, no, I meant the thing that's like one letter away from the thing I said.
yeah, not a totally different, like 4 different letters.
Yeah, you idiot. This is a name.
Yeah.
Oh god. Okay, so the way I came upon this one was I looked up like something like baby cryptids or something like that.
Baby cryptids.
So we talked about how it was like spring, and like that's when some of the baby animals come out and stuff like that. And then I was like, oh, I know there's definitely little cryptids that are like creepy little guys, or like, sometimes cute little ones. But what I ended up with was this creature that's basically like a little baby vampire sort of thing.
Oh no.
Yeah, sort of terrifying. And of course there's been movies made about it, because what sounds more creepy than a baby vampire? Ugh. So they basically take on the look and sound of a baby or a toddler, as they'll appear to their unwitting victims, or whatever. So if you're walking alone in the jungle and all you can hear is the sound of your own footsteps and then the crying of a newborn, run away!
There's no newborns in the middle of the jungle.
No, it's not a changeling. It's not any of that.
Yeah.
It's trying to lure you in so it can kill you.
Creepy.
Yeah. If you do fall upon it, fall victim to its call, then once you get to it, it might look like a baby until it reverts back to its original form and kills you, as one does. So yeah, this one's definitely a bit of a cautionary tale in some ways. We'll get to it. Yeah, just your classic loving to lead travelers astray and to kidnap, abduct children and other victims. Innocent victims. They have the trait. They always have that trait of being able to mimic like the cries of a baby. So they'd be crying piteously in the forest so that you come to them. But even creepier, I think, is that sometimes they can imitate the voice of a specific child or baby. So
Oh, that's very creepy.
Does that thing where it sounds like someone you know and you're like, oh no. Yeah. Other traits can vary a bit by region. This tends to happen with this kind of folklore creature. So sometimes they're described differently as babies with claws and fangs. Sometimes.
Creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, and what is it with vampiric folklore? At least like Anne Rice and some of the other inspired buys where they're like, that's the one thing you don't do is you don't make a kid or a baby into a vampire.
Yeah.
It's against the rules. So sometimes they look a little bit more like I put dwarvish and then it auto-corrected it to dwarfish. So I would like to know who's right here. Anyway, dwarf-like. Like a wizened little old man. So they would have like wrinkles, a mustache, and a beard, a very flat nose, and what was described as eyes the size of peseta coins, Spanish coins in use from 1868 to 2002. So
very specific.
I had to look it up. I'm like, what the fuck is a peseta?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like a toonie. No, I don't know. There was definitely at least one podcast where they were like, what the fuck is a loony? And then like, we're so sorry, we didn't know.
It's a oneie. Didn't we
It's
say
a $1
that?
coin. Yeah. Yeah, it's a one.
Because we called the other one a toonie. Why do we call the other one a oneie? No, it's a loony.
Because it
got
has
a
loon
loon
on it. Come on. Yeah.
A
And
loony, a
others
toonie. Looney Tunes.
costs a toonie or two. Yeah, and then we have dollar stores called a buck or two because it's under a buck. Wait, there's a joke in there. I
No.
can't remember.
It's
Deer
not
nuts?
under a buck. It's a buck or a two.
No. There's one. There's a joke that's like, what is it? What's the difference between a $2 bill and beer nuts? One is $1. Wait, that's not it. It's something like one's $1.99, the other's under a buck. That's the punchline. That's all I know.
Oh.
Deer nuts. Under a buck? Anyway,
Yeah.
I fucked up the delivery. I'm so sorry. Oh, she needs more sleep. Okay, so yeah, in this version where they look more like a little dwarf, they are also depicted often as having one leg shorter than the other. So it moves with a weird half leaping, crawling gait.
Ugh. I hate
I
that.
don't know. I don't know why. I'm pretty sure you can walk normally. You just have back pain if your legs aren't even. So, other versions have it taking the form of a baby as well, but it flies through the forest over the treetops.
Why?
I don't know. That one really made me giggle though. And on the island of Mindanao, the legend says it turns into a blackbird and then flies away. So, kind of, like the way vampires turn into bats, I guess. There's another tale from central Luzon, one of the main provinces there, and especially in the region called Pampanga. And it has the Tiyanak looking like a small nut brown people or person or whatever. And they generally float above the ground and have large features like eyes and noses. That one kind of reminded me of like Game of Thrones and the I forget what they called them, like the tree people or the forest people or something. And they were kind of like small little guys.
I don't remember. I've tried
They don't feature
banishing
them.
Game of Thrones from my mind.
Right. I don't blame you. They don't feature them a lot in the show. I think there's just one scene where they do a flashback and one of them kills like the original guy that becomes the Night King. Like they show him stabbing a guy and then whatever. I don't know. I'm like, okay, they're little forest people. Okay, I think this description was from the Aswang Project. It said the Tiyanak is essentially a vampiric baby. It presents initially as a lone infant, abandoned and crying for succor. That's a word I don't say out loud a lot. Sorry. The wailing is its siren's call, and when someone unwittingly approaches to help, the creature morphs into its true form. Its angelic face hardens and becomes demonic, its eyes bulge and turn red, its nails grow into long claws, and it gains sharp teeth with which it bites before sucking the blood of its victim.
Great.
Yeah.
It's so creepy. I hate all of it.
It's not good.
I'm just holding my neck like, no! No vampiric baby.
I know. And like a fast moving little vampire thing. Ugh. Oh no, wait, sorry, that was the next sentence. Oh, and it moves fast too. It scrambles and leaps, almost flying into the air. You can't just drop the baby and run, it will give chase.
No.
Giving me Chucky vibes.
Yeah.
It's usually found in forests at night, and it is said that the only way to resist the pull of the Tiyanak's cries is to turn your clothes inside out before venturing into the woods. End quote.
Oh. Where did we hear that before? Something was turning your clothes inside out or putting them on backwards.
I know. I think I'm not sure where, but it's something that I feel like I had heard at least once, like listening to a podcast about a creature or something. But maybe cause I mean I'm sure I've touched because we did vampires and we've done ones where I've talked about a few different Filipino folklore creatures. I think before I'd heard of the Aswang. There's a lot of flying vampire ones. They have the other one I think was called the Mananangal or something. I don't know. They gave me like creepy, blood-sucking, half-formed humanoid things flying through the air vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, such a weird countermeasure, but we'll get into. There's a few other things they suggest you can do to ward them off. It also, there was a quote that said there are some variations though, like in the Netflix show. I don't know how to pronounce this either. Trees or Treze or Trese, but it's probably Spanish, so I'm not sure.
I don't know.
It said where the Tiyanak has long limbs and can climb walls like a spider.
No. Even worse. Stop making it worse.
I know! Love it. It's such a long time since I've deep dived into a creepy creature. And I was just like, God, these guys are yucky. Also, we just finally watched Nosferatu. At least I watched it all. Rain and Pat tapped out because it was very long and a little bit slow. Yeah.
I liked it.
No, I did. I was like, I feel appropriately creeped out and skeeved out and, all the things. And I liked it, but it was a bit of a slog, I guess. Okay, so these guys have been also compared to the Spanish duende, which I just felt like I'd heard of before, so I want to mention it. Oh, and yeah, one more creepy detail that reminded me of other similar mimic creatures if it sounds close to you, it's actually far away, and if it sounds far away, it's right fucking there. So that's
Oh.
nice. Yeah. Don't know how that works, but it's just like the creepiest little detail when they have that ability.
Yeah.
I looked up a couple origin stories, which kept trying to correct me as original stories. Thanks, word. I know what I meant to mean, as Gloria would say. So, in the Batangas region, I believe, this version has the creatures as lost babies who went into the wild. Um,
How?
by the way, these are all so like sad. Just
How does the lost baby make its way into the forest?
I don't know. I don't know. We should do a series like the national park ones they do, where people just vanish without a trace sometimes, or sometimes the kids come back without like a scratch on them, and you're like, how?
Yeah.
Sometimes they say they are babies who died without a name, which is kind of sad. And in this version, they are kind of stuck earthbound until they can get a name to move on. I don't know. I definitely have heard some folklore where they don't like to name the babies too young, but that was different. The Mandaya people of Mindanao, again, like the largest island after Luzon province, they believe the Tiyanak are spirits of kids whose mother died before birth. So I guess died when they were still pregnant with the child. So then they were considered to have been born in the ground, quote unquote. Yeah, it's all just a little dark. But they do have a similar creature that comes up called the Pontianak, and it seems to exist more in Malay culture, which I guess is like from Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, Singapore, and Brunei. So those sort of areas. And but I was like, it's basically the same name. So I think it's like basically the same creature. And then there was some interesting passages on Wikipedia from history of preventative measures, I'll call these ones. So, one account, it said from Juan de Plasencia. Sorry, customs. Yeah, I don't know if this is, yeah, this must be the book or whatever it's in. Customs of the Tagalogs, 1589. I know Tagalog is the Filipino language they usually speak because I worked with a bunch of Filipinos. Yeah. Salamat. So for the Mandaya people of Mindanao, the Tiyanak originated from the spirit of a child whose mother died before giving birth. So this is the same, they're considered born in the ground, thus gaining its current state as a creature of the earth and soil that modern Filipinos refer to as a laman lupa, which literally means root crop, which I don't love. I thought it was interesting for the etymology of the, I don't know, like words. And the other quote said that Tagalog people believed that if any woman died in childbirth, she and the child suffered punishment, and that at night she could be heard lamenting. This was called Tiyanak. May the honor and glory be God our Lord's, that among all the Tagalogs not a trace of this is left, and that those who are now marrying do not even know what it is, thanks to the preaching of the Holy Gospel, which has banished it. I think that one had some of the Spanish Catholic influence on it after they came. But what was interesting, I learned about the etymology of the word of the creature, the Tiyanaks, or however you say it, is that many people interpret the name Tiyanak as coming from the words Tiyan, meaning womb or stomach, and Anak, meaning child. But but the name was initially spelled, again, just different spellings with a C and with a K, Tiyanak or Tiyanak, from the earlier Patiyanak or Pateonak, meaning dead child. So that's a little, again, dark and dreary.
Yeah.
But like kind of ties into some of these origin stories they believe in. So I thought it was interesting. And then apparently when the Spanish came to the country in the 16th century, that's when Catholicism entered the chat, so to speak, and kind of influenced some of the origin stories. So some of these might be, again, like a little triggering, but the idea was then that that the Tiyanak could be souls of infants that weren't baptized before they were born and died or whatever. So they're like, they're the ones that didn't see, weren't Christian or whatever. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
And I have to say, even more triggering, perhaps, some versions say that they are like aborted fetuses that return to seek revenge on their quote unquote killers. To
Why?
put it mildly. I think there's a little bit of a quote that helped me give a little more context to like maybe that it's still kind of frowned upon there, like abortion and stuff like that. So maybe it's kind of one of those like, oh, this is, if we keep stigmatizing it and use this as a cautionary tale, then whatever. I don't know. There was another description of the Tiyanak. That's nothing new. It was, they called it the spirit of a child whose mother died while pregnant and who for this reason was born in the ground. The belief in a similar spirit known as Tiyanak is widespread throughout the southern Philippines. So a lot of similar named creatures. When first encountered, this said, the Tiyanak looked like a naked newborn baby, a very plump baby lying on the side leaf of a banana plant. That sounds super adorable. Like a Cabbage Patch Kid or something.
Yeah.
I'm so cute. Oh my god, I just watched a trailer today for a new John Lithgow movie. Him and Jeffrey Rush, and they're in like a retirement home situation, and John Lithgow's like running around with this weird little creepy baby doll and like terrorizing the other guy. I don't know. It's called like The Rule of Jenny Penn or something. I think that might be the name of the doll.
Never heard of it.
I hadn't either, but I was just listening to Smartlist today and they had John Lithgow on and I was like, this looks creepy. This one was talking about two boys who once found a Tiyanak, lifted him up and kissed him many times. When fondled, the infant-seeming creature suddenly turned into a little old man with an old man's face, wrinkled skin, long beard, and mustache. It had a flat nose, the eyes were the size of a peseta coin, and its right leg was much shorter than the other, so that the creature had to move around by leaps. The Tiyanak are said to take a mischievous delight in misdirecting travelers, and one of them, quote, laughed, ha ha ha, I fooled you, and disappeared. These are not even full stories. In the tale The Devil Child, a Tiyanak cried, ah-ha-ha, ah-ha-ha, like a human infant to attract passerby, and it had the happy voice of a baby at play. I don't know. It's like trying to make me make a noise, and I don't know how to make it. But yes, they again reiterate that they're capable of being outwitted, especially if you turn your clothes inside out. Which might distract them with laughter. I can't remember if there was other explanations as to why that was supposed to work, but they also hate loud noises like fireworks. So they talked about, I think in one, how like Chinese New Year and different celebrations, they'll do like fireworks and stuff. Well, some of that was to help ward off some of the evil spirits, I guess. Or you can try other things that are like vampire repellents, like garlic, crosses, etc. Or you can try to help guide their spirits onward with a white candle to light their way home. Or if they're one like the nameless ones, you can help to name them so they can move on. But one of my favorite preventive measures was this description from Wikipedia that said from Juan de Plasencia. I feel like we talked about him already. 1589.
Yeah.
It said, pregnant women could not cut their hair, for they said that the children that they would bear would have no hair. When a woman is about to give birth, some men undressed until they are stark naked. Then, taking
Ugh.
shields and batons,
Why?
one takes his stand in the silong and another on the ridge of the house, and they continually fence with the wind with their batons as long as the parturition lasts. Sorry, this one had a lot of weird words.
Well, they're naked? They're just fencing on the top of the house?
They're just wielding their swords to keep the spirits away. This quote went on to say, from 1589, I've removed some from this performance by force of punishment. They say that it is to keep the Tiyanak and the Aswang away from the woman. These are witches among them who come to obstruct the success of the childbirth and to suck out the souls of the children. And the people act thus in order to prevent them. He who does not wish to have this observed in public, through fear of punishment, removes his wife to another house for the parturition if he thinks that the witch is in his. It's quite a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, this other historical quote was a similar account from Francisco de San Antonio Cronicas, 1738 to 44. They have many other superstitions, as that of the Pataniac, a spirit or ideal being, whose employment or amusement consists in preventing, by certain means particular to itself, the delivery of a woman in labor. To counteract the malignity, like malignant, but malignity. Sorry, that's a new word for me. Of this spirit, the husband, fastening the door, reduces himself to a state of complete nudity, lights a fire, and arming himself with his sword, continues to flourish it furiously until the woman is delivered.
Who's helping the woman while the guy does this?
I'd rather he be out of my way, out of my business. He doesn't need to be looking down there, seeing what's going on when I'm giving birth. That's for the doctors and the midwives. He can be like, not famously, but like, I think Pat wanted to poke his head in. I was just like, go away. You don't need to be here. Anyway, so yeah, that's really all I could find on them, other than there was like a couple of similar creatures that had a paragraph or two that I was like, and they have similar names, like the way they keep calling this one like the Tiyanak or the Tiyanak, like they're all really similar. And this other one was called the Tiyanak. So it's like the anti that one, no, but
yeah.
This one's apparently in oh god, a lot of these are really big words. Kempangan mythology. This is a race of creatures called Tiyanak, believed to be one of the oldest beings on Earth. They looked like normal humans, but smaller in size. Just a little bit. It says in brackets, growing to 12 inches tall.
Damn.
And were extremely powerful. They would be dwarfed by that snow out there today.
Yeah.
It said their civilization was said to be more advanced and capable to communicate with the trees, animals, the spirits of the wind, and the water. So other than their name, like they don't sound super similar, but like it's so weird that their name was really the same. Less vampiric. But this other one is kind of also really creepy, and it's the last one I'm going to talk about, and there was definitely creepy pictures of it that I should and will put on the drive and on our Instagram eventually. It's the
Yeah.
Tiyanak. This is a creature from Mindanoan folklore. A vengeful female spirit with a slit in her belly, exposing her unborn child inside. So,
Creepy.
yeah, it's not like, oh, we're after your babies. She has her own baby, and it's almost falling out of her. So she sees men as enemies, believing that her pregnancy caused her miserable fate. For this reason, she preys on men at night by ripping off their genitals with her long, sharp claws.
Oh no.
She's a man-eater, make you work more.
Just rips them off. Damn.
I know. Talk about a man-hater. You did this to me! Okay, so that same article had some interesting sort of context. They said, but this remedy applies to almost any supernatural occurrence in the Philippine jungles. Sorry, this might not have followed exactly after. But early Filipinos believe that the world is inhabited by territorial nature spirits who can harm or play tricks on you. Once you step across the elemental boundary, doing something strange. Oh, this was about the wearing your clothes inside out. While in a strange place might break any enchantments. Sorry, I had that kind of maybe in the wrong place. Oh yeah, and then talked about the loud noises and the firecrackers. Also clanking metal objects because they hate loud noises. Oh, this is what I was talking about, more context. Because this one article said that even like as far as the stigma against all these souls supposedly of dead babies and whatever, which is obviously very sad, but they're like, even in the Philippines today, newborns are found deserted on roadsides and other bushy areas. Not sure, again, how true this is, but the mothers are usually minors who conceived out of wedlock and or were victims of rape and have no means to support their offspring, which, yeah, that can happen anywhere, sadly.
Yeah.
But they said that they think the Tiyanak lore reflects the risks of maternal and infant mortality during childbirth, but the fear of the creature was propagated to kind of guilt trip mothers since abortion is still illegal and heavily stigmatized in the country. So the demon baby is a link to our past where we've had very different ideas of moral obligations and everything wasn't always explained by science. Which I think just goes to show how stigmatizing abortion and all that crap can be very, very harmful to a population also. Not to like bring it back around to today's issues, but it's pretty crazy because like if they were scared to seek that kind of treatment there, I mean, I'm just hearing so many horror stories too about like, even if you're not having an abortion or something, but if you had like a miscarriage with complications and you're in a state in the US that doesn't offer, they consider any care to do with that like an abortion and it's illegal, you might have to go to a different state to get the medical care you need to live because you like miscarried or whatever, and not everything came out properly, and it's like, what the fuck, this is crazy. So yeah, not to end on a crazy dark note, but like, what the fuck is the world coming to? Like, should be just so much more free everywhere, so we don't have to have these horror stories and cautionary tales that are supposed to, like, I don't know, what, make people scared of ever having sex and getting pregnant. Poor girls in every fucking folklore tale. We always get the worst of it, or throughout history, you could say.
Yeah.
Oh. Anyway, but funny vampire babies. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to be heavy. It's been a fucking week over here, okay?
Yeah.
Ugh. Vampire babies. Really enjoyed yours. And there are some, I think there was some cute pictures of babies with fangs and stuff that I can at least include on our Instagram. And no hashtags about fetuses or anything like that. Oh my god.
No.
I don't need to have I have two triggering cases 2 weeks in a row. First I got literal, like, beheading and cannibalism, and then I'm like, and then these ones might have to do with poor unblessed souls. No. Religious trauma. Okay. Pray for us. No. Oh my god, Kelsey, help me. I'm spiraling. How do I end this?
I don't think we decided what we're doing next time. But
oh no, did we not yet?
We have our Patreon picked.
Which is the next thing we have to work on, so that's why we haven't officially picked the next episode. But that's because we're gonna
Haunted Battlefields.
Which is really, it's gonna be a fun one. Excuse me.
Yeah. Some ghost stories.
Yay. Hey, they all knew they were going to battle.
Yeah.
I got nothing else. I'm trying to make it sound better. But no, it should be fun. Like, there's so many, like, ghosty stories from battlefields and stuff like that. So I think it should be a fun one. And I know you've already picked, and I'm gonna have to pick something. And
yeah,
sometimes there's just, like, too many on a topic where I'm like, well, I could do that one, or I could do that one. It's like with this, I was like, calm down. You could do one cryptid today, and you can do another one next time you guys do one.
Yeah.
We won't run out of topics. All right. Well, we will see you next week.
Yeah.
And if you miss us in the meantime, join Patreon. It's .com/castleandcryptids. And I made us a new TikTok account. So I'll let you know when I post something there.
Yeah.
All right. Until next time, keep it cryptic.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Castles and Cryptids. We love all our listeners and appreciate every subscriber, every new review, every listen, rate, and download. Our music is by Kobe Off Air, and our cover art is by Antonio Garcia. We are also a proud member of Darkcast Network, where you can find the best and spookiest of all indie podcasts. Follow us on social media, where we are at Castles and Cryptids on mostly all of the things, now including TikTok. Check out our bonus content on Patreon, cryptid clashes, video minisodes of your host making asses of themselves, Ask Me Anything, quizzes, other special episodes, and more. Starting at just $2 a month, you can get 1 to 2 extra episodes, depending on your level. We produce, edit, and research everything ourselves, and any support you can lend helps us to keep it cryptic.